All right. So upon landing on this homepage, Arthur is going to need to initially register for an account so that he's able to complete and submit his application. So to do that, we'll click on this register for an account button, and that's going to open up a registration form. On that registration form, Arthur would provide things like his first name, last name, email address, set up a password, date of birth, social, his home address, as well as a different mailing address if needed, as well as his phone number. When I click this register button, there are a few things that or a couple things that happen. The first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to receive an email from the system notifying me that I've registered for the licensee portal and giving me a link to be able to go and log in on that portal. Along with that, the application will sign me in and bring me to this landing page for applicants. So this is the first page that's seen after an applicant logs into the portal. Once that registration process is completed, we're really at that point ready to begin the application process. And again, Arthur's looking to apply for that advanced practice nurse prescriber license. So I can see I have a question here: what license can we help you apply for today? And a drop-down filled with license types. So in this instance, I'm going to choose advanced practice nurse prescriber and click next. The very first screen in the application flow is really one where we're asking which application method are we going to be using to apply for this license. So for today's demo, I'm going to be selecting licensure by examination. And once I'm ready to begin my application, I can then use and click on the next button, which would open up an application flow and really get me into the application proper. Landing on the application flow, the very first step that we run into is our instruction screen with some brief instructions about what needs to be provided and how to complete this application. We can move through to the next step of the application by using the next button. And that's going to bring me to the personal information step of the application. So here we're collecting demographic information, validating that we have the right name, the right date of birth, ethnicity, gender. Also, we have our contact information. And as you can see, that is editable so that if they need to update that information via this application intake flow, they can certainly do that by updating their phone number or changing their home or even changing their mailing address as well. After the user has input all of that information, we have some additional questions based on the advanced practice nurse prescriber, asking whether we've been licensed, what's our primary state of residence, do we currently hold a registered nurse license, and what are our current certifications. So we'll click Save and Next, and that's going to take us to the next step of the application, which is going to be our school information. And as you can see, ahead of time, I've already added in the two schools that our applicant is going to be listing. When I click on this Add School button, it's going to bring up a modal looking just like this. It's going to require me to fill in all of these fields before clicking Done to save that school information. So the school name, the street, the city, the state, the degree, and the graduation date are all required. If someone accidentally clicks this in error, they can use the little X here in the upper right-hand corner to cancel out of that selection. Or if they update the information and click Done, it's going to edit the information in this table. We'll go ahead and click Save and Next here and jump into the specialty step. On the specialty step of the application, I'm able to indicate that I'm certified, in this case, as a nurse practitioner, the subspecialties of adult and acute care. If I choose certified registered nurse anesthetist or certified nurse midwife, those do not have those subspecialties, whereas nurse practitioner and clinical nurse specialists do. So you can see those are split and required based on that requirement. All right, we'll click Save and Next here to jump to our veterans fee waiver step. And you're going to see this functionality quite a bit over the next few steps. So I'll just kind of use this step as an example to talk through it. Here we have 3 questions. If you qualify, you're requesting a waiver of your initial credentialing fee. Now, in this case, I've answered no. However, if I were to respond with a yes, we would have an additional question requesting that we input that WDVA voucher code number into this field, and you can see that it's required. You're going to see this a lot in the declaration, an additional declaration step as well. Just wanted to kind of call it out here. So we'll go ahead and choose no there. We'll go ahead and use the Save and Next button to jump to our license history step. In our license history step, we're asked first to indicate any states in which we've been licensed. Now, in this example, this applicant has been licensed in Wisconsin, so I do have that one checked. I do have a none option if needed, but otherwise I can indicate as many states as I've been licensed in. Below that, we are able to identify the states in which we've been licensed by exam. And of course, in this case, where Wisconsin is the only state that I've been licensed in, I'm also going to indicate Wisconsin is where I've been licensed by exam. So click Save and Next here. That's going to take us into our first step of declarations. Our declaration step have a series of questions that we have to respond to. With each of those questions, if we indicate yes to any of them, typically we'll have a field and we'll be asked to share details about that response. In a couple of cases, we do have just instructions for additional forms that need to be submitted if responding yes to this question. All right, so I'm going to use the Save and Next button again. We're going to move now to our additional declarations. For our additional declarations, we have some definitions that are laid out in the top half of the screen. And so we have some very descriptive definitions of medical condition, chemical substances, illegal use of controlled and dangerous substances, and then some questions relating to those definitions. You'll notice with question number 11, I currently have it indicated with no. If I were to say yes, I am both required to explain as well as to respond to questions 12 and 13. Whereas if I click no, I'm not required to respond to those additional questions. So we'll go ahead and click Save and Next. Moving into our supporting document step. So here we can see we have a list of documents that could be required. We have some of those marked as absolutely required in all cases. I have gone ahead and uploaded some sample documents there. In order to upload a document, I can use one of these upload buttons. That's going to give me some information about the file size, what kind of files, and also let me know that multiple files can be uploaded. For example, here, I'll click on Upload, and we will grab a file to be uploaded. And once that file is uploaded, I can click Close, and you can see now that file has been added to this list. In this instance, this is not the right file. I've made a mistake here, so I need to remove this, and I can do so using the trash can or delete icon here next to that supporting document. In the instructions that are given to the third parties, you're going to have instructions to come to the licensee portal, and they don't need to register or anything like that. They'll go to this third party document upload. And so they're asked to search for an application number, and on that form, the applicant will be instructed to fill out this application ID. So this application number is going to be how the third party references what documents they're submitting or what application they're submitting for. So we'll go ahead and take that individual application ID and paste it into the application number and search. And so that's going to show us what profession it is that's being applied for, as well as that application number. Once I have confirmed that, yes, this is the correct application that I'm trying to provide documentation for, I can use the select button. And now you can see there's a list of different documents that I can provide, which may or may not be coming from the same party. And so if I needed to provide this certification of master's or doctoral degree, I would use the upload button, which gives me our upload modal, and I would find a document to upload on my computer. Once it's uploaded, and then at this point, I can close the window. I don't really need to continue to stay here or save anything. At this point, when we view this application internally, we will see that that document has now been uploaded. So here is the certification or master's doctoral degree, and this is that file that I just uploaded. All right, so once we've uploaded all of our supporting documents that are required, we would then be able to use the Save and Next button, which would bring us to our attestation step. So here, Arthur would be able to indicate that he is a citizen or national of the United States, as well as provide his digital signature after reviewing all of the information and agreeing to sign. All right, so we'll use the Save and Next button here to enter our final step of the application flow, which is our payment step. From here, we're shown a table of what are the fees that are currently being charged, as well as some optional choices that we can make, including ordering a wall certificate or an expedited fee. In this instance, we'll just keep the base fees as the amount, and you can see here it gives us a total amount at the bottom to be paid is $132. Now, in order to pay and submit this pay for and submit this application, I'm going to use this Pay and Submit button. All right, so when I click on the Pay and Submit step here, I'm going to be taken out of licensee for a moment and into the payment gateway. And so to complete my payment here, it does pull over information about the from the applicant's profile information is brought over. The phone number and email address does have to be typed, and then we can choose our payment method. We can take ACH debit as well as credit and debit cards. Once they've input all the information, I use the Continue button to be shown a review step. Select the right state here. They're brought to a review step where they're able to review what is going to be charged and the rest of the information that's been provided, and then they can use the Confirm button to make that payment. They're provided with their confirmation number, and then once they click Continue, they'll be brought back into licensee and be displayed a success message there as well. Let us know that the payment's been received and the application has been successfully submitted. Along with that, I'm going to get a couple of other notifications. So one notification is going to be a confirmation that my application has been submitted, and the other is going to be a receipt from the system telling me about that payment. Once all applicant supplied documentation and third-party supplied documentation has been submitted, the application will be reviewed and hopefully approved. Once approved, licensees will then be able to log back into the licensee portal and print their license certificate by clicking on My Approved Licenses, using the Action button next to the license for which they would like to download or print a certificate, and then using the View Certificate command. All we need to do is to click Download next to the type of certificate that we would like to download and print, and that certificate will then be displayed and can either be downloaded, printed, or both.